Torrential downpours.
But there could be some strong winds. The greens just south of the river heading into Mexico.
Damaging winds. The valley trying to recover from the overnight storm.
Lightning lit up the damage in Chimney Park, but that wasn't the only area hit. We have team coverage. A major development for the city of Brownsville this afternoon. Why this building was brought down and what's set to be built in its place, coming up in just minutes. It was all caught on camera. SpaceX reeling from this morning's setback. This fireball in Florida comes as a company moves forward with plans to launch rockets right here in the valley.
And Hurricane Hermine impacting the East Coast. It's also impacting tides on South Padre Island this afternoon. What you can expect this Labor Day weekend.
We are tracking new details in this morning's deadly shooting in Edinburgh. One man is now charged. These are just some of the images from the courtroom.
$1 million in bonds is keeping this man behind bars. Channel 5's Christian Van Pricing is tracking the latest on this for us this afternoon. He's live in our newsroom.
Well, that arraignment just wrapped up in the past hour. Our crews were there as it all played out. Lieutenant Oscar Trevino with Edinburgh Police says the suspect is a self-admitted Vayuco gang member. About 13 hours after that shooting, that suspect, Victor Lee Alfaro, appeared before a judge. He faces 2 charges in this case, one charge for aggravated assault and another for murder. Each charge came with a bond of $500,000 for a total bond of $1 million. This incident happened around 1 o'clock this morning. Lieutenant Trevino says there were shots fired at the Edinburgh Village Apartments located at the 700 block of the South 4th Street. When police arrived, they found a 21-year-old man inside an apartment with a gunshot wound. We just learned that man was identified as 21-year-old Reynaldo Reyes Jr. of Edinburgh. He was taken to a hospital but did not survive his injury. Police say it started with an argument between the victim and another man. Right now, we cannot confirm any more than that about that argument. We'll continue to track this story as it develops. In the newsroom, Christian Van Pricing, Channel 5 News at 5.
Breaking news this morning at 6:31. Tropical Storm Bill is set to make landfall north of the valley. Right now, Bill is less than 50 miles from the coast. We have team coverage tracking the situation this morning, all standing by along the coast.
Galveston is under a voluntary evacuation order this morning. Channel 5's Erica Proffer is there tracking the storm. Erica, what do you see right now?
Well, right now the winds have started to pick up a little bit. We're out here monitoring the storm as well. We're live in Galveston. Erica Proffer, Channel 5 News this morning.
And we also have team coverage in Corpus Christi. Channel 5's Kirk Chason is tracking the storm from there. Kirk, you've been there for nearly 24 hours. How have things changed?
Okay, let me actually show you something here. It's gotten light enough. What you see here is a large flag in the background behind me. You are looking north here, and so this morning we are in Corpus Christi right now. We're going to be heading to Port Aransas, then up through Rockport, and we're going to try to get as close to Port Lavaca as we can, which is where we expect the storm to make landfall sometime later on this morning. And so, of course, we'll be bringing you all the latest reports throughout the day. Reporting live from Corpus Christi, Kirk Chase on Channel 5 News this morning.
Tropical Storm Bill is set to make landfall well north of the valley, but it is impacting our shores. Several beaches are closed. Channel 5's Lauren Kendrick is live on South Padre Island this morning. Lauren, behind you, we can see that the waves there look pretty choppy. How's the conditions out there with the wind?
Yeah, Alan, we're out here in Isla Blanca Park. Like you said, it's pretty choppy out here. We will be out here monitoring those conditions and we'll bring those to you. Any new details that we get. For now, reporting live on South Padre Island, Lauren Kendrick, Channel 5 News this morning.
Well, like you saw there, the seas are anywhere between about 5 to 8 feet crashing into the coastline just along our beaches. And as we look at the First 1.5 Doppler network, look at all the rain associated with this storm. This is Tropical Storm Bill.
McAllen fire investigators say lawn equipment and some gasoline are to blame for a deadly house fire. And the man who lived there died just days before his birthday. 54-year-old Leo Philippi was found inside that home when the blaze broke out. Firefighters were called out to the home on the 1200 block of West Fern last Sunday. The fire chief says some lawn equipment and cans of gasoline were covered with a blanket that was outside of Philippi's bedroom. A fire broke out, sending flames and smoke into the home. Philippi died of smoke inhalation. Fire investigators have officially ruled this fire as accidental. The fire at exotic tropical Pet World remains under investigation today. Authorities say Friday's fire was intentionally set at this business, and they're looking into several leads. Pet World is right off the expressway, and it houses more than 150 animals. The good news is all of those animals were rescued. Investigators are still looking into who broke into the building before that fire began. Now to new developments, the disappearance of an 11-year-old boy. One man is now confessing to kidnapping, sexually assaulting, and then killing little Jacob Wetterling. This crime took place in October of 1989 in Minnesota. Today in court, Danny Heinrich described what he says happened. All the while, the young boy's parents were in that courtroom listening.
Now to the shakeup that sent tremors across 2 states. A 5.6 magnitude earthquake hit Oklahoma, but also sent tremors to parts of North Texas. The quake hit northwest of Pawnee on Saturday. This afternoon, a state of emergency is in effect for Pawnee County. Philip Townsend went to Pawnee to take a closer look at what may be causing the increase in seismic activity. Take a look.
Assist officer, shots fired. Code 3, stay off the radio, officer down.
The investigation into the ambush in Dallas is heating up. Authorities now have bags of evidence in hand. They were able to look through the home of one of the suspected snipers. We're tracking those details ahead. A former Channel 5 photographer replays what happened as gunfire broke out. He and hundreds of other people ducked for cover.
Got closer, I zoomed in and I see several police officers.
In minutes, he'll tell us more of what he saw at the scene. And police departments from the Valley are showing their support for their fellow officers. What the San Juan police chief is saying as Channel 5 News at 5 starts right now. New developments continue to come in from Dallas. Police in North Texas weren't the only targets. This morning, a St. Louis police officer was shot 3 times as he walked back to his car during a traffic stop. The St. Louis police chief says a suspect, quote, ambushed the officer. That officer is now in critical condition at this hour. And we've also learned another gunman was found targeting police and others in Tennessee. Authorities say the man first fired shots at a motel in Bristol, Tennessee yesterday morning. Then he shot at cars on the highway. Authorities with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation then says he shot at 3 officers who responded to the scene. Investigators say he killed 1 person and left 3 others injured, including a police officer. Right now, that gunman is in the hospital. He told authorities he was troubled by the shootings between African Americans and law enforcement. One of the suspects who fired off rounds at the Black Lives protests in Dallas also said he wanted to kill white officers. Police departments across the country are reacting this afternoon, including here in the Valley.
Help them all to serve with a sense of purpose and with a sense of pride.
It was an emotional roll call this afternoon, the afternoon shift at McAllen Police. Father Amador Garza left the officers in prayer, then sent them off with a blessing. Police Chief Victor Rodriguez says people in McAllen are showing support for his department in light of the tragedy in Dallas. He says no department would have been able to prepare for what happened to Dallas PD. The San Juan police chief expressed the same sentiments. Chief Juan Gonzalez explained that Dallas police officers were at a disadvantage during last night's attack. He says the officers were doing their job in protecting the protesters. He explains the reality is that there's no training that can help any officer prepare for an ambush.
They caught him in a very vulnerable position, and no tactical solution that I can tell you throughout my career that would have prevented, any officers of losing their life based on that incident.
Chief Gonzalez says he'll pray for the officers' families. Building good relationships with his community is also something he'll continue to work on. Several police departments in other cities are changing procedures in response to that sniper attack in Dallas. Chicago, Las Vegas, and Cincinnati were ordered on Friday to team up in pairs as a part of a new safety measure. Well, the Dallas police chief says his department is hurting. The community is still rallying behind him and the officers in hopes of providing support. That's Dallas Police Chief David Brown. He was greeted by cheers at an interfaith vigil. Chief Brown called last night's ambush, quote, well planned. And here is what we know so far. First shots rang out around 8:45 last night, again during a protest in downtown Dallas. 5 officers were killed. Several others were wounded. We know 4 were Dallas police officers. The 5th, a Dallas transit officer. A former Channel 5 News photographer was also there as shots rang out. We spoke with him over the phone. Channel 5's Angelo Vargas has his reaction.
Samuel Hernandez first worked here at Channel 5 News as a studio camera operator. Over the years, he worked his way up through the ranks as an editor and then as a photojournalist. He eventually left the Valley, and now he lives in Dallas working for a news station in KDFW. He says he was in the middle of all the chaos as it happened. You can see Hernandez in a blue shirt holding his camera. Police officers telling him to get out of the area. He thought a fight had broken out between the protesters. Then he heard gunfire and saw the police officers through his camera. He said he heard anywhere from 20 to 50 rounds fired.
All of a sudden, a whole bunch of police officers are like hauling blood, like trying to get to him and, you know, trying to help them out. They're also ducking for cover and trying to help out their fellow police officers, which was insane. I mean, they were taking gunfire and they were trying to, like, help their colleagues, which was insane to me.
He said he saw other police officers risk their lives to help the wounded officers. This afternoon, a dark cloud of emotion continues to hang over Dallas. We are now working on more of this reaction from last night. We'll have that story for you coming up on our Channel 5 News at 6. In the studio, Angelo Vargas, Channel 5 News at 5.
Authorities now set to go over evidence collected from a home of one of the suspected gunmen in that Dallas ambush. The Associated Press says a 25-year-old suspect was killed by police with a robot-delivered explosive. The suspect's home, about 12 miles east of downtown Dallas. Agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives were at his home in Mesquite today. Dallas police report this afternoon they found bomb-making materials and also a journal of combat tactics at the home. Police say they also have several people in custody.
We have in custody a female who was in the same area of the El Centro garage, and we followed a Mercedes with 2 suspects who had camouflage bags, who officers end up stopping on traffic, and they are in custody and being interviewed.
And we are working to learn more about those suspects. We'll update you as those details become available. Well, right now at 5, it is still a very active scene in downtown Dallas. Dozens of yellow markers mark evidence police will go over. And as we heard moments earlier, a former Channel 5 News photographer heard 20 to 50 rounds ring off. More rounds could have been fired. Marcy Gonzalez is in Dallas, where investigators continue to guard the scene. Marcy, good afternoon. What can you tell us?
Hi, Oscar. Well, still so many of the streets here in downtown Dallas are blocked off as police gather evidence and